The Libya operation highlighted heavy Allied dependence on the United States for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets. We therefore seized the initiative and have worked to secure common funding for an Allied intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capability called the Alliance Ground Surveillance Program, or AGS. This program will help NATO acquire a long-range UAV capability that would not be affordable for most allies on an individual basis, and is a superb example of defense burden sharing, or what Secretary General Rasmussen calls smart defense. We support his efforts as a useful means of meeting the goals NATO has set for the development of the critical capabilities that it needs. It allows allies to prioritize, to pool resources and share capabilities, and to specialize where appropriate. NATO as a whole will benefit, and the whole will be stronger than the parts. This is not to say we were not concerned about capabilities even before the Libya operation. Coming into the administration, those of us who worked on NATO, and many of you are here today, were keenly aware of a growing gap between American and Allied military capabilities. From the start, the President directed us to place a high priority on NATO maintaining the military capabilities it needs to achieve its objectives, on doing contingency planning for all allies, and on developing new capabilities where they are required. So at Lisbon, with his NATO counterparts, the President set a number of capabilities objectives for the alliance to achieve. Work is ongoing in areas such as the protection of NATO's computer networks and innovative ways to counter IEDs in Afghanistan and elsewhere. But perhaps the best example of the President's commitment to NATO's capabilities of the future is our work on missile defense. The United States is heavily investing in Europe's security through the development of a NATO missile defense capability. At Lisbon, our leaders agreed that the alliance would develop the capability to defend our populations and territories against ballistic missile attack. We offered, and our allies welcomed, the U.S. contribution of the European phased adaptive approach towards realizing this important objective. Its first phase includes the deployment of a radar in Turkey and an Aegis ship in the Mediterranean that can begin to defend European territory and populations. Since Lisbon, this phase was completed consistent with the commitment the President made to Congress at the end of 2011, and now additional work is underway on the next phase. At Chicago, it is our intent to declare an interim capability for NATO missile defense based on the ability to employ U.S. assets under NATO command should conditions warrant. We also will conclude the Deterrence and Defense Posture Review, or the DDPR, that was tasked by NATO heads of state and government at Lisbon. The DDPR will identify the appropriate mix of nuclear, conventional, and missile defense capabilities that NATO needs to meet 21st century security challenges. We expect it to be approved by NATO heads of state and government in Chicago, and it will reaffirm NATO's determination to maintain modern and flexible capabilities. These are the concrete deliverables that the President has committed to achieving. Fulfilling them will make the alliance stronger and ensure that the alliance can manage the challenges we all face on the fiscal front while fielding the forces it needs to meet the challenges of today and the future.